Hello everyone, how are you? I hope you're all doing well. Today is not going to be a tutorial because I'm in charge. Today I'm going to start a little, I don't know whether to call it series or just a collection of videos on my channel that combine the two things I love most in this life. Why don't I close the window? So obviously one of my biggest passions in this here life is makeup. It's my favourite thing in the world to do. It keeps me sane. And the second thing is talking about feelings, talking about, you know, giving advice, all those types of things is stuff I'm really passionate about. Nikki Tutorials has done a couple of videos before that she called makeup therapy, and I thought that that was a spectacular idea. So I don't know what I'm going to call this little group of videos. They're not going to be for everyone, but they're going to be on topics that people ask me all the time about these things, and I feel like I could put my 2 pence in. You might not want it, in which case, you know how they spit the coins back out? If the coin's wrong, spit this coin back out and wait for the next one. But yeah, the setup's basically going to be, I'm just going to do my makeup. I'm going to do something crazy today and we're going to talk. So the topic that I want to talk about today is confidence, because a question that I have had since like the dawning of the age of Aquarius is you're really confident. How do you get so confident? Like, where do you get your confidence from? All of those wonderful questions, and I never really know how to answer that because I just am what I am. But I feel like it's a conversation worth having because I'm one of those people that when I don't know how to process my emotions, I Google it. I'll like literally just Google, how do I become more confident? The problem is there isn't one. That's the thing, because there's so many things in life that you can be not confident about. You could be not confident about the way you look, which I suppose is the most common one. You could be not confident about anything in particular about you, be that your personality, particular aspect of who you are, your family. There's so many avenues of things that you could not be confident about that it's hard to tackle the question. For example, I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm a body confident person, because I go through days like everybody where I'm like, I look like a thumb right now. We all have those days. But equally, I go through days where I'm like, I don't know if you're aware, I'm really quite something special. So I would say that a huge majority of confidence can be broken down into how much you're willing to fake your confidence. Let's be real. What I mean by that is, if you're somebody who is willing, even on the days where you feel like utter garbage, to look at yourself in the mirror, for example, and say, who are you, you fine sexy beast, hello, come through mamacita, then you're going to be probably classified as a confident person. And that's definitely how I feel on the matter. It's like, I get called confident all of the time, and I think it comes just from how I outwardly present. I think for me, an important part of it is that I would rather be seen as cocky than seen as insecure, because ultimately I don't want to be insecure. I want to be happy and I want to be content with me, and I want to not worry about, I don't want to pollute my brain with more worries. There's already so much rubbish that goes on in the world that you could spend all day worrying about, especially now. Like, I really would rather not panic about body crises or am I a good person and all of this stuff. But inevitably we all do, because the world is only ever as big as the person who's living in that world. Do you know what I mean? But I think at this point it's really important to always try and remember that whatever thought you're thinking at that moment that's really negative, you have to try and go back to where that came from, because you weren't born with that idea in your head. You weren't. For me, a lot of my confidence stems from, I used to worry a hell of a lot about who I was, because I'm very loud, I'm very confident, I'm very outwardly quite garish, quite, I mean, Christ, it's a Wednesday and I'm wearing so far green and red and I'm planning on blue and purple on my eyes. But I used to spend quite a long time internally sort of thinking, oh, am I too much? Am I being too much? Worrying about what other people are going to think about me and all this nonsense, like just stupidity. And I know that's a difficult thing to say, like that it's stupid to think about those things like that. But it is. And when you start calling out your stupid behaviour, you'll stop doing it. It's such a ramble I'm going on. And I genuinely believe, I know nowadays everything's very like, you've got to be kind to yourself, you've got, and all of that stuff, you've got to really consider you and your mental health. And yes, I agree to an extent, but I'm also a huge believer in you have to champion yourself. So if you're in a mood and you want to get out of your mood, tell yourself, excuse me, stop being in a mood, please. I will only say it once. And I think that's where a lot of my confidence comes from, is that I do feel a lot of the time quite in control of my emotions. And there's plenty of times that I'm not, and I don't feel in control. But in those times, I feel really comfortable with the knowledge that I'm actually a good person. Whenever I make some mad moves, act stupid, act out, be rude, be loud, be whatever, I can always ground myself back in the knowledge that I'm alright. I'm actually alright. Alright, I might have made a mistake there, probably, sounds about right, but I'm actually alright. Like, stop being so hard on yourself. Honestly, the amount of situations I've peeled myself out of just by being like, why are you being so out of order to yourself? If you want to be confident at the end of the day, you need to make some positive changes, and no, it's no one else's job to sit there and pacify you until you decide to make them changes. So I suppose if someone asked me where does my confidence come from, it comes from the fact and the knowledge that I'm literally a tiny human being trying to do my best. And often I don't. But alongside that knowledge, you have to be open to the idea that if you don't like the way you're behaving, or you don't like the way you're acting, or whatever, that you are the one in control. Because it's very, very easy nowadays, I'm just going to say it, to blame situations that you don't want to happen on exterior factors. Whether that be, I'm insecure because I follow too many beautiful people on Instagram and they're making me insecure. So I suppose what I'm trying to say is, at least my confidence comes from like an underlying knowledge that I am actually worthy of lots of good things to happen to me. And I used to feel uncomfortable saying that, like, do you know what, I actually deserve amazing things. And the thing is, you may not genuinely think that you're a good person who deserves really good things. You may not. We've all been there. And you start to panic and you start to think that all of your problems are problems because you're you. And if you weren't like you, then you wouldn't have so many problems. Just every time you get thoughts like that, chill out. And I know that sounds like a properly easy thing to say, but I'm going to say it because it's the truth. For real, if people stopped dwelling on everything, you would be confident as well. And maybe it's like a really ridiculous thing to say, but I sort of swing on either end of I am completely unimportant and I am the most important thing in the world. I balance myself in that way. So if I've, for example, if I'm really in my head, I'm really scared to wear that outfit because my arms are huge and everyone is going to look at my big fat arms, and I'm so embarrassed of how much of a giant beast I am. That mindset is putting me in the driver's seat. That's assuming that I am the most important person in the world to everyone who sees my arms that day. So I'm feeling very up this end of the spectrum, very self-important. And to balance that, to get back to this just neutral central ground, you have to strip yourself down and you have to say to yourself, no one cares about your arms. No one. Literally no one. So then if I also say, if I'm down on this end of the spectrum, right, and I'm like, someone's really upset me and I'm like, you know what, I deserve it. I deserve all of this horrible stuff to happen to me. I'm the worst person on the planet. Everything is my fault. You're right down here, yeah, you're feeling like nothing. You're feeling so unimportant, so small and so minimal. So to balance that out, you need to start thinking thoughts up the complete other end of the spectrum. You need to be thinking to yourself, you know what, no, I'm actually seriously important. And you have to continuously remind yourself that you're a good human being. The more you practice that, the more you genuinely believe it. And like I say, on days where you're feeling really up your own, properly self-important, you need to bring yourself down a couple of pegs. But when you're feeling so down on your luck, so down on yourself and so rubbish, you need to bring yourself up. And you're the only one in control of this scale. Confidence is also about doing things that you really don't want to do. And that's why I've chosen to do this eye look today. Because me and my boyfriend were talking and he loves a good colourful eye look. And he always asks me why I don't wear them out. And the genuine answer is because makeup is garish and out there. And people look at my everyday makeup when I'm out, because it's a lot of makeup. Like, not everybody wears quite as much makeup as I wear on an everyday basis. It obviously has some sort of effect on my ideas, because I choose not to wear bright crazy colours on a day out, because I don't, like, if I'm just going out shopping, I'm like, I don't need to wear crazy eyeshadow. And though it doesn't scare me, like, I'm not scared to go out and wear this, I'm definitely in my comfort zone to just grab my James Charles palette, pop on a warm brown and keep it pushing. So again, to sort of maintain that balancing act, every now and again you have to do things like this. To keep up my confidence, to keep up my self-love, to prove that I can, I'm gonna go out with 5 different colours in my eyes. And I guarantee I would put every penny that I have in my bank account on the fact that nobody, one, either nobody will say anything about my makeup, or two, the only things I will get told today about my makeup is that my makeup's cool. Guarantee it. Quick insert to say I wish I would have bloody bet it all, because I got so many compliments on my makeup that day. There's just so much to unpack in confidence, because it's so tricky to unlearn things that you've learned all your life. Work on being totally at peace with who you are as a human, not the way that you look, not your personality, but who you are, what kind of energy you give out, and you'll start to see the difference. Because one of the things that builds my confidence up more than anything is when I get comments from people saying, you've made me feel so good today, oh, you're so confident, like it's really made me feel confident. Those are the best comments. And so if you're not going to be confident for you, be confident so that you can pass it on to someone else. Right, I'm going to stop waffling, do my other eye, and then I'll be done. And here we go. Such a vibe, this eyeshadow. All using the James Charles Morphe palette as well. Wonderful. Okay, so that was my makeup therapy for the day. I feel fully confident, ready to take on my day with this grungy, colourful vibe, and I hope you all got something a little bit helpful out of this and feel a little bit lighter now for the rest of your day, and can hopefully take on board some of the things I've said. I know I rambled on like a monstrosity, but I hope that helped at least someone. And yeah, if you like this video and you want to see more, then make sure you subscribe and give it a like, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Auf Wiedersehen.